Hello everyone, this is Summer Lowry with another installment of Cracking the Shell, which is a space where I explore what it means to stay open, expressive, and alive while living with Parkinson's. So welcome and thank you for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'm putting a collage on the cover of this episode because I wanted to share a bit more about this collage that I made in January at the start of the new year. It's like a fun thing that I like to do. I love collages because you can incorporate a lot of different images, and I feel like my brain kind of works like a collage. There's always different things kind of overlapping and overlayering, and overall, like, you can make a really beautiful picture, and it can be whatever you want it to be. I've never been much of a painter or someone who can draw. I really admire people who can do that. But yeah, so with the collage, it's just a really fun and easy way to express through words and visuals. So I love the medium. I'll share some others that I've made as well. But what was coming up today, of course, was so you'll hear some background noise. I'm actually at my son's school right now. And there's a baseball game going on. There's a water polo game going on. And I was trying to find a bit of a quiet space. But you might hear some of that going on in the background. But the campus is really lovely. And so I thought I would take advantage of it while I'm waiting for him. Of course, my mind was doing all the things of like, oh, well, you don't have your microphone and you have all this background noise and they're playing music in between innings, so that's going to get in the way. But it's like, okay, just calm down, everybody. Like, just do the thing. You have to find the cracks of when you can be creative. That's what I usually tend to do. My process is I'll ruminate on a topic, usually for several days, sometimes even months, sometimes even years. And then, at some point you finally just find the moment where either the perfect conditions finally arise, which is usually never, or you just kind of make the decision that, like, okay, now's the time. I'm just going to hit record, or I'm just going to finally put paper to pen, or, whatever the case may be. So that moment is now for this particular topic. So back to the collage. There's some words in the corner, and I want to say, I actually might have said this already, but I want to make sure I did. I made this before I was diagnosed. So there were already things going on. Obviously, the symptoms had come up over the past couple of years, but probably from around, I would say, October, November of 2024 was when I think they were getting worse, just because people were starting to notice. Like, I was cutting like fruit or something at a family gathering, and someone was like, hey, what's going on? Or, people were starting to say things like, are you okay? You look like you're moving a little slow, like things like that. So I knew something was up, but I had no idea what my diagnosis would actually be. I wasn't expecting it. So when I made this collage, I was really just thinking, like, okay, I want to start the new year off right. I want to, really be focusing on my health and just just really like taking control, right, of kind of like healing and just getting it together, because I had been feeling like I just don't have it together. And quite honestly, my brain, in my head, I've been in survival mode for quite a long time, just worrying too much about various things, which I won't go into because that's not what this is about. I don't want to share all of that or give more words to it, at least not at the moment, because it just makes me tired and depleted, and it really just drags me down. So, but I wanted to share that bit before going into talking about the words on the collage. So it was one of those things where they post these things on social media, and I say they because I have no idea who posts them. But it'll be like, it looks like a word scramble, and then it'll be like, the first 4 words you see are your words for, the new year or something. And, I feel like it's a very scientific method. So I just go with it. But I love that stuff. I really can't resist it, nor do I want to. And so the words that popped up were, or the first words that I saw were gratitude, strength, purpose, and miracles. And so I just went with it, and I went with it for putting it on the bottom of this collage. So I want to start with gratitude, because since I've shared this, so many people have reached out to me in my friend and family circle, who, and even strangers who I've didn't know before, but now I've met them because, or deepened my relationship with them because I shared about my diagnosis. And yeah, the amount of people who have just shown empathy, which is a real thing in case you were not sure about that. Empathy, compassion, support, love. It's just been completely overwhelming, and has really been helpful in reminding me that, one, I'm not alone. 2, it is good to share with people what you're going through and ask for help. And even if you don't ask for help, it's good to share, because people will help you. People will show up in your path that can be very helpful if people know what's going on. I'll share more at some point about a woman that I was recently connected to, who does Reiki energy healing. And I'm not going to go into that on this episode, and I have a tendency to go down rabbit holes, so I'm going to really try to keep things on topic for any given installment, but I'll go into that later. But it was just another example of wow, when you're open about things, support and love and hope can show up in many different ways. But I appreciate that some people have donated to the Ko-Fi. That's wonderful if you have the means. I am really trying to explore functional medicine more than the allopathic route, just because, as I mentioned before, the medication really didn't help me. And that was so far all that's really been offered in terms of what's covered by my insurance. Aside from, I have been able to get acupuncture, which has helped with some pain in my hip. That's been great. But it's really hard to get appointments through Kaiser for that. And yeah, so the monetary donations are really greatly appreciated for that. But even just, if all you do is give words or send some love or heart a message, it means so much to me. So just know that. So I wanted to share that first and foremost because I feel like gratitude is foundational for me. Like it's the beginning of everything, and it's the beginning and the end, right? So there's some baseball players yelling at each other. Cute. Anyway, the next word I'll talk about is strength, because I pulled that word and I was like, oh, strength. Like, yeah. Like, I always have to be strong. I'm strong. Everyone knows I'm strong. Oh, she's so strong. It's like, at some point it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks to be strong because people just know, especially if people know that you're a strong person. It's like sometimes you do have to lean into like opening up and asking for help, because if people just think you're strong and you can handle it, then they might not know what you need. But I've definitely had to really dig into finding strength already this year with this diagnosis, and just managing the symptoms. It's like, man, like I didn't know I was going to need to be this strong, like at this point in my life. And it is tough. I'm not going to lie about that. But the thing about strength is like strength builds on strength. So the more I, flex that muscle, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical, or communal, the stronger I get. And so I'm really leaning into that. And I think that for me, part of strength has been being able to say like, hey, I can't actually carry this myself. I do need support. I do need love. I do need help, because I am someone who is not used to asking for it. And that's required a new kind of strength and vulnerability. Purpose. So purpose, I feel my purpose is truly to be a creative force, and to really lean into my creativity. It is what brings me the most joy, the most peace, the most relief. And the collage is just like one small example. But that, I think that using that in whatever way it can show up, like this project of using my voice to share what's going on and how I'm processing it, is allowing me to fulfill my purpose of being creative, and that's healing for me. I'm going to pause again so I can breathe. Listen to the baseball game in the background while I compose myself and catch my breath. You might hear some birds too, and that's nice. Okay, so I think that's all I'll say for now about purpose and creativity, but that's just huge for me, so I'll probably do a whole other episode on just creative practices, so I don't go down rabbit holes again and make this too long. I found most people like to listen in a car ride, which is about what I like to do. So trying to keep these concise. The last word is miracles. And as people, love to reiterate, especially doctors, they love to say the words progressive, and they love to say no cure. And I just want to be like, don't say that around me, please. Please don't say that around me. because I do believe in miracles, and I am leaning into miracles. I'm open to miracles in all forms, whether it's a miracle of science in the form of a scientific breakthrough, whether it's a miracle of God or spirit, whether it's a miracle of spontaneous remission, whatever the case may be. I'm open. I'm here for that. I'm here for any kind of miracle that I can get. And I was laying in bed one night, and the mindset and the spirituality and what I believe and what I subscribe to is the great I am. And so whenever I pray for something, I usually am reminded, once I sit in silence and breathe with it, that I am already that. I am already that which I seek. It's already in me. It may get covered up by other things. It may get masked by challenges. It may get masked by bullshit or worry or what have you. But at the end of the day, I am the miracle. And so that's what I'm leaning into with that word. The last thing I want to share about, because I feel like it does tie into what I was sharing about exploring functional medicine. And I know some people were waiting for an update on this. So I did a gene study for Parkinson's, where they tested because they can see if your Parkinson's is genetic. And basically, long story short, mine is not. I was negative for all 7 of the main genes that they test for that would show that my Parkinson's is genetic. Even though my grandpa did have Parkinson's, I know that he worked on Air Force bases all his life, where he would have been exposed to toxic chemicals that could have potentially triggered Parkinson's for him. And he also used a lot of pesticides in the yard. So that could have been related. Anyway, the music kicked in, which is probably my cue. It's like the Oscars when they play the music. It's like, okay, wrap it up. Anyway, I feel that knowing that it is not genetic, for me, it felt like a relief, even though it's like, I still don't know how I got this. I don't know what triggered it. Well, I have ideas about what triggered it, but the why and the how are still a mystery at the moment. But ruling things out is helpful. And for me, it was like, well, if this wasn't, something that was sort of genetically predetermined, that actually, I don't know, it made me feel a little better. Like it gave me a sense of empowerment, and made me really want to, just focus on doing everything I can to cleanse my body, my environment, my mind, and my spirit, to be and to stay as healthy as possible. So that's all I will share for today. But I really appreciate everyone once again. Know that if you're listening, if you're seeing this, hearing this, I count you among my blessings. You are a big part of what makes me feel grateful every day and what keeps me going. So please feel free to share this and support on Ko-Fi if you're able. I love you all.